It's time for the lesson tee presented by Family Golf and Learning Center, as well as our friends at Elevated Performance, and timely for Elevated Performance because there's our man, Jon Crash Benne from Elevated Performance, which is a fitness entity in St. Louis, but also a major cog of what they do at Family Golf and Learning Center. Crash, how are you?
I'm doing good, Jay. How are you, sir?
I'm doing really well. We're going to get this weather out of here, and it's
Yeah.
going to be nice, and
Get rid of the
golf's going to
snow.
be golf's going to be played, and people won't have to hit at the simulators.
Yes.
But there's a couple of things I want to hit on with you,
Okay.
and before we even get started with me throwing a couple of questions your way and some other questions, somebody's out there watching, and they're wondering, well, how do I even get started with Elevated Performance? What's the process for somebody to, I'm sure there's an evaluation and all that good stuff. What happens when a guy or a gal shows up and says, I'm ready to try something?
Yeah. So obviously, the first thing we do is sit down and kind of discuss their goal, discuss their injury history, kind of what are they looking for from us. We don't have a blueprint that we use for every individual. For the typical golfer, obviously, we start with the TPI screen, the Titleist Performance screen. That's going to show us where they're tight, where they're limited, where they might be restricted in their golf swing. We also are going to do the functional movement assessment, which coincides with what we do in the TPI screen. The people are on the board that started the functional movement assessment with the Titleist Performance guys. So we're going to start with the movement screen. We're going to address how you move. How can we get you moving better? How can we get you moving without restrictions? We're going to talk about nutrition. We're going to try to improve body composition. But a lot of things, it's not just coming in here 2 or 3 days a week. It's teaching them how to take care of themselves at home, how to eat properly, how to fuel themselves for the golf course. But we want to give everybody all the tools in the toolbox for success.
Well, and you and I were talking before we came on. And I was doing a little research before and looking at what the top fitness tips were and this and that are in Golf Digest. And one thing that stuck out to me was squats. And I say squats, I'm not talking about being a power lifter.
No, not at all.
I wonder how many of our viewers in the last year have just squatted their own body weight.
Well,
I mean, talk a little bit, because that's the base. And if
exactly.
you don't have the base to make a solid move, you're in trouble.
Correct. So the squat is a fundamental movement. And obviously, when you see a child in early development, and I took some early development courses in college, a baby can squat, can walk around on the ground, and can play and pick up toys and move without restrictions. As we age, as injuries come or lifestyle changes from sitting at a desk to, carrying a baby for, 3 or 4 months, or 3 years, if you're a mom, we're going to create some imbalances, create some, some shifting, but we want to get everybody squatting. And like I said, whether it's with the PVC pipe, whether it's with the broomstick, whether you're holding a golf club, we never want to lose that ability to squat, because we're going to have to get on and off the ground. We're going to have to reach into the hole and get the ball out of the hole. And so there's a lot of limitations that come from our lifestyle. And there's a lot of things we can do to teach you how to squat again, to teach you how to get on and off the ground. I had a 82-year-old guy come in last week who's a member at Persimmon Woods, and he walks 9 holes probably 3 or 4 days a week. And he's having a hard time getting on and off the ground. And that's one thing I've seen in this past year is people were told not to leave their house due to the coronavirus. People sat. People didn't move. So if you look at an 82-year-old guy, as he ages, 1 year set him back, probably 5 or 6 years. I worked with him for many years. We he went the other way and was doing stuff at home. And now he's back because he wants to get back to a regular lifestyle. And he wants to continue to walk 9 holes 3 days a week at Persimmon. So we want to get him squatting, get him moving again. And we're not loading it. We're supported, we're holding on to something, but we want to still make sure we can get depth, recruit those muscles and the quadriceps and the glute, and do it while staying upright. You see so many people as they squat,
Yep.
their back leans forward, and that's going to put a lot of stress on their low back, and that's going to shorten their hip flexors. And we want to make sure we're doing it properly, doing it correctly. Obviously with the athletes, we're going to load that squat if their form's good. But I might get a high level athlete that comes back from a season, and we might start with a 10-pound bar, just to get the mechanics back, just so the brain and their neurological system can learn that motion again.
We're talking with Jon Crash Benne. He's TPI certified. He's got all that other CSM, this thing. He's got all the letters. But he can help you. That's the number one thing. And you talked about limitations. And I know that's something that's important to you because people have physical limitations for whatever reason over the years. They're not going to go necessarily get rotator cuff surgery because they're not making $5 million a year playing ball. But you can put together some, and I'm going to use the term, simple exercises so that people don't get afraid and think you're going to be having them do all kinds of stuff, because you really can help people with physical limitations that may want to, that if taking the club back just a little further without pain would give them 5 or 10 yards, they don't have to spend $400 on a driver.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not, technology is great in the golf industry. The drivers, the shafts are unbelievable. Our youngest client's probably 10 years old. Our oldest is 91. We have everywhere in between. And the goal of the 91-year-old is to stay in his house. He doesn't want to depend on a nursing home. He wants to be able to go to the grocery store, go to Sam's, pick up his groceries, and so we're not bodybuilding with him. We're teaching him how to move. We're working on his balance. We're working on his core strength, and we want to help any individual. Obviously, it's great to work with some of these golf guys that we get and some of the high level athletes, but whether you're the 82-year-old guy at Persimmon, whether you're the 91-year-old guy that we go to his house and help, we want to keep him from going into that nursing home and from his lifestyle deteriorating.
Off our last conversation, I got some questions from some folks, and
okay.
Jim wanted to know. He sees these guys, and you've probably seen them on tour, and they're walking down the fairway eating a sandwich, or eating a banana, or having some trail mix or whatever. Jim wanted to know, and I'm curious your answer, if that's going to help Jim when he plays around with his buddies.
Well, a lot of people, they restrict calories or they skip breakfast, and they might have a cup of coffees and, have a quick sandwich at lunch and then go try to play 18 holes, which that's good. But, when we sleep, our body recovers, our body promotes muscle growth. So we're going about 8 to 10 hours without liquid, without water, and without calories. So right when we get out of bed, we need to replenish what we lost to help sustain energy levels. So if you have a golfer, we want to make sure we're fueling ourselves before the round. We want to make sure we're working on proper things to set you up for success. I'm not saying you got to eat a 12-inch Subway sandwich at the turn, but if we can get a granola bar, if we can get some almonds, if we can get a piece of fruit to kind of bridge that gap from our meal prior to our round to sustain energy to after the round.
Well, and, there's also, to a certain extent in this game, as some mental things that happen.
Absolutely.
And, the more you do the right things golf-wise, what's in life, the more you do the right things, normally decent stuff's going to happen. So, and the best way to get somebody started doing the right stuff, and this is one of my favorite pictures. There is Blake's daughter out there rocking the club and that finish.
So cool.
And again, when you talk about a junior golfer getting involved in the game, you want to get them involved. But at Family Golf and Learning Center, you've got so many different aspects. When you got you with the fitness, and you got CJ with the club fitting, and all the various teachers that teach at Family Golf and Learning Center. I keep saying it, but Man, Adam has changed things in town. He's
Yeah,
really taken it to another level.
It's really taken quite the turn for the better. It's amazing to see the youth programs that they have throughout the week. What's really cool for myself and my other TPI guys that work with me is we're going to take part in helping those junior golfers. We're going to teach them how to control their body. We're going to teach them what to do in the gym. And obviously with the 10, 12, 14-year-old kid, we're not lifting weights, but we can work on rotational exercises. We can work on flexibility in the hamstrings. We can work on core strength. We can teach them how to load their hips and throw a medicine ball to generate a little extra power. So one of the things we're going to be doing down there on Saturdays with Rob and Adam is we're going to have some kids in the gym, some kids downstairs, on the range hitting balls or on the putting green, and then we're going to flip-flop. So we'll have a group for 30 to 45 minutes upstairs in the gym. Other group will be on the range, and then we're going to alternate. And so we're going to be able to help a lot of kids at a young age and set that foundation in training. And not only we'll teach them about nutrition and eating properly, but we want to build a base, build a strong individual who can sustain a 9-hole match walking, or when they get to high school, an 18-hole match walking.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would have loved to have had something like Family Golf and Learning Center when I was 13 years old. It would have changed things for me. I know that. So
Absolutely.
I know it's changing things for kids and your involvement and the way in which instructors are starting to understand and utilize your knowledge to make them better teachers.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's great is, I was over at Family Golf on Monday and I'm talking to one of the female instructors down there, Melissa, who does a great job. And I told her about a guy that I'm sending over to her to work with. And I sent a guy to RJ and it's about the team atmosphere down there. And there might be something they see in their golf swing where they come to me and say, hey, how can we get that body turning better? How can we get them to load the left side for a right-handed golfer throughout the golf swing? Because, that's where we generate power is by producing ground force. We want to make sure we have stability. We want to make sure we have strength through the golf swing, through the impact zone, so we can generate club head speed to hit the ball further.
Well, and I know I've tried to, as I've told you, one of the things I really want to make sure that people know is we're not speaking to the 2 through 8 handicappers here. Those guys know this is available, and many of them utilize that. But the real benefit can be for that weekend warrior or the guy that doesn't understand why he can't go from a 12 to an 8. Because utilizing the things and the resources at Family Golf and Learning Center are the things that can take your game to the next level or make you enjoy it more.
Yeah, and just having the ability for their body to play pain-free. We had a high school teacher from the Fort Zumwalt School District, and he saw one of the interviews we did and contacted me over at Family Golf. And he's been dealing with back pain for years upon years. And he wants to golf. He doesn't want to stop. So I evaluated him. I gave him some homework to do. He's the band director out there. And he's up there on the pedestal working with the kids and teaching them music, which is cool. But what's neat for me is he had spring break 2 weeks ago. He played golf 7 straight days in a row on his spring break with that week when it was 75 degrees every day.
Nice.
And he said he wanted to be able to play 3 days in a row prior to coming in to see us. So that's what it's about. It's about setting him up for success so he can continue to golf every day, if his heart desires.
But so we've hit on that player that wants to get better. I want to hit for just a second on the good players. And there may be some out there watching that don't utilize what you do. And if they're not utilizing at this point at the high amateur level what you do, then they're just skating by, because just about all the top level players are doing it. My horse, Skip Berkmeyer, 13 times.
13 times. He just walked in, actually.
Well, there you go. I mean, but now that there's a sicko. So I mean, but there, he's at another level. But for somebody that is playing with a group and sees guys that are playing better than him, they're doing a couple things. What would you tell them when they came in? What are you going to do?
I'm not sitting here telling them I'm going to make them a better putter, or I'm going to improve their swing, or prevent them from going over the top. That's what the golf professionals do down at Family Golf. They're going to help them with the form and the golf swing. They're going to help them with the mechanics. My job is to get the body moving better, get them performing better, maybe adding some lean muscle mass, maybe losing some body fat, maybe increasing club head speed. We got a lot of cool training aids that we use, from the speed sticks to the medicine ball wall, where we'll throw some medicine balls and load the hips and do all sort of things. But, we want to look at their body. Where are they tight? Where could they be restricted? Where could we get that body moving better? And that's how I can help the high level golfer is when they have 4 rounds in a row and they have to still compete on a Saturday and Sunday after playing Thursday, Friday. We want to make sure their energy levels can sustain that. We want to make sure that they're strong enough to still perform at a high level on that 4th day.
Well, and I want to finish off with this, because I think, people have had different experiences with gyms or this or that. I mean, you could make it as simple, if somebody wanted to come in, get evaluated. You put together a program for them, get them started on that program, and there they go. Am I right?
Yeah, exactly. And the industry is changing. So many people will see a fitness article in Golf Digest, or they might download some app on their phone and try to do a workout program. But just because they watch somebody doing a video, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to do the correct form. So I can send 500 people videos all day till I'm blue in the face, email them workouts. But I want to see them in person. I want to correct the form, make sure they're doing it without risk of injury and getting the most bang for their buck. So you see so many guys, oh, I got this app on my phone and Bryson does this workout. And that's fine for Bryson.
Right.
I'm not Bryson. You're not Bryson. We want to teach you how to do it correctly without risk of injury. That guy out, that school teacher out at Fort Zumwalt, he just emailed me this morning, said, hey, could I, resend me that workout, and could I come back in and run over a few more of those stretches? Because he wants to make sure he's doing it correctly. He wants to make sure that he's getting proper coaching throughout the movements. So many people create apps or load videos to YouTube. That's not what we are. We're about helping people in person, making sure they're doing it correctly.
Well, I love your passion for it. I hope people understand that they can truly not only become a better player, but feel better with what you're gonna be doing for them.
Well, let's grab Skip real quick.
Get Skip. Bring Skip over. See, is he off the treadmill already?
Yeah, he's just getting warmed up over there before our workout. But
I love it. Look at him. Hey, proof in the pudding. You're going to do a little workout this week. You're off your first tournament. You're not laying low.
I'm trying to continue to do it. I usually don't do it as much in the summer, and I think it's been a big part of me getting better. So I'm trying to continue as much as I can. I mean, it's hard to do it all because you got a lot going on, but I think it's more important for me at 47 to work out than it is to hit a bunch of balls, honestly.
Well, and I'm glad you say that. And we talked about you a little in the show, and you're at another level than the majority of people we're speaking to. As I said, a little sick. But that's why at 47, you can still mess around with these kids and play in the events in the summer. You're there, you do this. 15 handicaps or 12 handicaps that play every Saturday at Gateway or Norwood or Sullivan or wherever. Skip, why would a session and learning some stuff from Crash help the regular Joe?
I think it's just about movement, Jay, and whatever you're doing. I think if you don't have an idea, particularly people who want to get better. I mean, if you're happy going out there, being sore, playing once around, drinking 6 beers, that's great. Go do it. But if you want to get better and you want to know how your body's going to move and feel healthier and feel better after rounds, I think you need to figure it out. And I think in life, you have to educate yourself. And this is part of the educating process for me anyway, because I don't know a lot about it. Crash has been really good for me in doing that kind of stuff. So I want to get better. I want to keep playing this game. And I know if I keep fighting, I may not be going forward, but I'm not going to go backwards. And so that's kind of how I do it and why I do. But I think they need to, if they want to be serious about getting better, they got to know how their body moves. If they don't know how their body moves, then and what limitations you might have, how can an instructor help you? So you need to know this stuff, in my opinion.
Yeah, and Skip just played down in Houston for 4 straight days, and he came in on Monday. We did a little bit of a recovery day. Today we're going to get back to, working on his club head speed and getting his body stronger so he can sustain that for the whole summer.
Yeah, I'm Nursky was happy with I started hitting by Nursky, my 4-ball partner, a little bit. He's like, "What have you been doing?" So these are good things. Got new equipment, been working out. Things are going in the right direction. I think. I don't know if I'm going to play as much this year, but I like where my game is, and hopefully better.
Well, as they say, some are sicker than others.
Yes,
and we'll let you get after it with Crash, and you boys get it done. And Crash, as always, thanks for the support. And we can't recommend enough somebody come give you a visit.
Jay, we appreciate it. Good seeing you.
Good to see you, Jay.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you. Take care.